Okay, so today we're going to talk about 4.1 day 5 notes is what we're going to cover, and it's called elimination after multiplication. So if you recall, we already talked about elimination, and the purpose of elimination is to eliminate either x or y as a variable. Once you have done that, you can combine them and solve, plug back in, solve for the other variable, and you have your solution. So sometimes we can't always combine them and have a variable eliminate or go away, cancel out. So sometimes we have to multiply first. We already talked about when we had to distribute the negative through, so this is kind of the same concept but one step ahead. Again, if this is in a video, you are required to write it down. So number 1 says 4x minus 5y equals 23 and 3x plus 10y equals 31. So as you can see, if you were to add 4 and 3, you get 7x, and negative 5 and 10, you get 5y. Though neither of those eliminate, and neither of them are as simple as multiplying through by a negative. But I do see that 5 and 10 are 5 is a multiple of 10. So if I use that idea, I can multiply this top equation by something to get my goal, which is, if I have a positive 10 here, my goal is to have a negative 10. So what do I multiply negative 5 by to get negative 10? And you should say 2. So I'm going to go through and distribute this 2 to all three terms. 4x times 2, 8x. Negative 5y times 2, negative 10y equals 23 times 2, 46. So now I'm going to recopy equation 2, 3x plus 10y equals 31. So all I did was distribute through and multiply by 2, and it now made a variable eliminate when I combine. I have a negative 10y and a positive 10y. Now you might ask yourself, could I have eliminated the x's? Yes, you would have had to multiply both equations by something to get the x's to cancel. I'll show you that as well when we finish. So let's go ahead and combine. We have 8x plus 3x is 11x. Y's cancel equals 77. We have 11 times x equals 77. To undo that multiplication, divide both sides by 11. X equals 7. Now we're going to plug that back in. I'm going to plug it back into this first equation. So if you follow my thumb along as I write, I have 4 times x is 7 minus 5y equals 23. 4 times 7 is 28 minus 5y equals 23. I need to get the y by itself, so I'm going to move over the 28. It's positive. In order to move it, we have to subtract from both sides. Negative 5y equals 23 minus 28 is negative 5. Divide both sides by this coefficient, which is negative 5. Y equals 1. Okay? So for our solution, we are going to write it as an ordered pair. X is 7, y is 1. 7, 1. You can go ahead, and I want you to do this, check and make sure we are correct. Now, if I go back to what I had said and you wanted to eliminate x's, I want you to watch this. What can 4 and 3 both multiply by to be the same? Well, 12. They both divide into 12. So if I multiplied the top equation, 3 times 4x, and the bottom equation, which is the 3x, times a 4, I have 12x and 12x. I need one of them to cancel and be negative, so I'm just going to throw a negative on one of them, and you would then have to distribute the 3 through the whole system, the whole equation, and the negative 4, and then you would have 12x and negative 12x, which would then eliminate. You would end up with the same solution. I encourage you to go ahead and try that out. But the y's were a little easier. We only had to multiply one of the equations. Okay? So Get this copied down, pause it if you need to. You will be required to have the whole thing done. Let's move on to the next question. Please pause and write this down. It says a library is having a book sale to raise money. Hardcover books cost $4 each and paperback books cost $2 each. A person spends $26 for 8 books. How many hardcover books did she purchase? So I'm going to let my hardcover be H and P be my paperback books. Okay, so now we first know they bought how many books? 8. That right there is an equation. Hardcover plus paperback equals 8 books. Now we know how much they spent. So we have another total of 26. They spent $4 for every hardcover plus $2 for every paperback. Okay, so go ahead and look, and what would we need to multiply by to get one of these variables to eliminate? If you wanted H to eliminate, I would multiply the top equation by -4. So we would have negative 4H and positive 4H. If I wanted P to eliminate, I would multiply by -2 on top to get -2P and positive 2P. Now it's asking how many hardcover books. So we want H to stay. So let's eliminate P. If it just asked you how many of each, it would not matter. If you did the wrong one, you would just go back and solve and it still would not matter. So I'm going to multiply by -2. -2 times H is -2H minus 2P equals -16. So we're done with that equation now. We have 4H minus 2H is 2H. 2P, -2P cancels. And 26 minus 16 is 10. So H equals 5 hardcover books. Okay? And that's the answer to the question. If I wanted to know how many paperback, well, there were 8 total, so there's obviously 3 paperbacks. Now I want you to look at this last question. You are going to be required to have this done on your own, so I'll zoom in. You can pause it. Let's see if it focuses. No, it's not going to focus. 4s minus 5t equals 3, and 3s plus 2t equals -15. We want to eliminate, so one has to be positive and one has to be negative. If you look, you already have those signs in front of t. So what is the smallest number that 5 and 2 both divide into? And I would say 10. So my hint to you is, what do you have to multiply the first equation by to get 10? And that's a 2. And what do you have to multiply the second equation by to get a 10? So 2 times what is 10? And that's a 5. Now you will have to distribute those into both equations, and then that will eliminate the t variable. Go ahead and solve. Include, write it as an ordered pair in the order ST, alphabetical. And if you have any questions, please come see me. I hope you have a nice day.